Hi, I'm Rochelle Gorey. I'm the CEO and co-founder of SpringFour. We are a fintech, social impact fintech company headquartered here in Chicago, and we work with financial institutions of all sizes to increase financial health opportunities.
And hi, my name is Ben Schack. I lead U.S. digital partnerships at BMO Bank.
So Ben, we've been in partnership together since late 2017, but I thought today we'd start off and talk about our work during COVID-19 and how together we assisted millions of families throughout the pandemic.
Yeah, so we had a little bit of a playbook for what we ended up doing together. So if I think back to early 2019, which feels like about 100 years ago, that was when we had our government shutdown. And we knew during that time that there was a population of our customers who may be experiencing financial hardship, maybe for the first time. And so what we did then on a proactive basis is we made the SpringFour Direct tool, which provides direct referrals to nonprofit and government agencies that can help people with financial health. We made that tool directly available to our customers and really surfaced it and made it very visible as part of our government shutdown response. So fast forward a year and some change, when COVID hit, we knew once again that we were going to have customers who were experiencing financial hardship, maybe again for the first time, or maybe in a way that they haven't, or at the very least that they may be concerned about their finances. And so we did something very similar. We made that SpringFour Direct tool very visible and very available to customers as part of our COVID response page. And the results showed that our instincts were probably correct there. So we saw about a 500% uptick in the usage of that tool. And we made hundreds of thousands of referrals during COVID and even on into 2021. Made hundreds of thousands of referrals to financial health resources for those customers. So we were really pleased that we were able to respond very quickly and proactively to help customers with financial stress.
Yeah, I think it was a great example of us having already a partnership in place. We had built the trust, the track record, and you knew that you could turn to SpringFour in this instance that really none of us expected ever to be in, serving customers during a worldwide global pandemic. So we're really pleased with our results. So BMO Harris utilizes our digital solution, which you referred to, but then also our call center tool. So at the same time, your call center agents had access to S4 Pro, and they were utilizing that on every call that they took during this time. Can you talk a little bit about the power of having SpringFour in the call center and how that changes the tone and the nature of those calls occurring?
Absolutely. So going back well before COVID, as Rochelle, you just mentioned, we've been using the S4 Pro tool in our collections contact centers. And the way it works is when our collections agents are having a conversation with a customer about usually a past due loan, in addition to having the conversation that they need to have about that, they're also asking customers if they want referrals to organizations that can help them save money or find a job. And so for our collections contact center agents who are doing a tough job and having tough conversations with customers who are themselves in a moment of truth in their financial lives, they're able to have a different conversation than the one that customer is probably expecting to have. So they're able to talk about how to actually help that customer improve their financial health. And the results show that a couple of things happen when we do that. You know, one is that the agents are, they feel like they're better able to serve the customers. The customers feel like they're getting better service from the bank and they're getting something that they don't expect from the bank. And from a financial business case perspective, we do find that customers are more likely to be able to repay their loans and come current on their loans when they accept the referrals to the SpringFour Financial Health Resources. So it's one of those instances where it's certainly good for the customer, but it's actually good for the bank as well.
Great, and thank you for mentioning that, because I think it's really important for people to understand while this is a very nice thing to do for customers, it also makes sense from a business or economic standpoint, right? So thank you. Let's talk a little bit about the customer experience, right? So we've been fortunate enough to learn through BMO Harris and our partnership that it has had a profound effect on actual customers. Can you share a couple of those instances where you've seen a change?
Sure. So we talked about kind of the results as we've studied this, where we do have 90+% of our contact center agents that report that there's good outcomes for the customers here and it's helping them serve them better. But then we also have a lot of anecdotal evidence that really shows and illustrates how the experience can change for the customer. So one of our favorite examples is we had a collections call. It was a follow-up call with a customer about an auto loan that was past due. And the customer actually indicates that he was looking forward to this conversation because since the last time that he talked with our agent, the customer was able to get a job. He said, I'm going to be starting my new job on this date, and I'll start getting paid on this date. And shortly after that, I'll be able to start making my auto loan payments again. And the customer said, I wanted to say thank you because I got the job from the SpringFour referrals that you guys gave me the last time we talked. And you can hear on the recording, the contact center agent actually kind of takes a beat and says, wait a second, are you saying that you actually got your job because of the SpringFour referrals that we gave you during our last conversation? And the customer says yes. And I really appreciate that you guys were able to do that for me. And there's been other instances where customers have called back after a collections conversation to ask to speak to a supervisor, and the message they wanted to convey was one of thanks, to say thank you for actually trying to help me. I've never had a bank or a financial institution who's tried to help me in this way. And those things are really meaningful for customers who are experiencing some kind of financial hardship. And it makes us feel good that we're able to be there for our customers, but it also helps prove out that we're delivering some real value here for the customers who are needing the help at that time.
That's great and really meaningful, because I think it's really important to surface those sort of impacts, right? Because often we get bogged down by numbers and reports, and it's really important to remember that behind each of these numbers is a family, is a customer. And how much better is that person going to feel now about the institution that helped them in this situation and really was something that they hadn't expected? So that's great. Let's talk a little bit about, we're going on our 4th year soon of our partnership. And to me, that means we're being successful together. Let's talk about why we each think that our partnership has been so successful. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. So if I go back to the start, and I think we've had consistent success on the partnership all along, but if I go back to the start, there was a couple of things that were real difference makers when we were thinking about whether to move forward. One was about authenticity. And it was clear to us that SpringFour, that Rochelle, you and your leadership team were really committed to helping customers. But it wasn't just that you were committed to it, is that you had designed the solution in a way that helped you be very clear and true to the mission. So right down to the way that you price the solution for the subscribers, there's never a disincentive for us to give the customer all the help that that customer needs through the tool, make as many referrals as the customer needs, make it available to as many customers as we possibly can so that they can be helped. So the incentive structure was right. And we also felt good about SpringFour's diligence and making sure that the resources that were in the tool were organizations, nonprofits, and government agencies that we could really feel good about sending our customers to, where they would have a good experience. Because whenever you're sending your customer someplace, especially a customer who's experiencing some kind of financial stress, you really want to be safe and careful about where you are sending them, because that's going to reflect on us. So that was kind of one big thing. And another big thing I would say was just ease of implementation. There are many things that we could do for our customers and for our business. There's only so many that we can do. And so having a solution that didn't require a heavy, long-term, expensive integration, having a solution that didn't require us to take on a lot of InfoSec or supplier risk, those things, when you get down to implementation as a financial institution, those things really count. And so ease of implementation was a big deal for us as well.
That's great to hear. Thank you. I think when I think about BMO Harris, what stands out to me is just the availability and accessibility of senior leadership and executives to make this partnership happen. And really the quick response of your team to work with us and to bring our solution forward. So that's been really helpful. And then I think having a solution that is scalable, that is national, right? So your customers are spread all across the US. So we need to have a solution that can respond to each of those unique needs of your customers. But I do think, just really having executives be available and really embracing this idea of change and innovation that we're bringing to your institution and not being afraid of that, right? Like we all need to take the opportunities when we have them to try to bring change. And sometimes I think we get scared by what is in front of us. But as you've indicated today, really, I believe the success is there. We're seeing great things for your institution and your customers. And when we do that, we know that we're improving the financial lives of so many of your customers. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you for all of your partnership.